Hey, what's up guys? This is Big Benedict. We're playing Ninja Gaiden Black on Master Ninja difficulty. This is the 7th chapter, Hidden Underground. The beginning of this video has a Fiend challenge that you can participate in, and I would highly recommend it. It would be pretty foolish to skip it in my opinion. I honestly didn't know that it existed until very recently, but you notice I'm applying the Lives of the Thousand Gods right here. That's the first one. The challenge, the Fiend challenge gives you one, as does the victory over Hydracubus and the Cat Fiend. So this chapter will give you 3 lives of the Thousand Gods. That's pretty big because those permanently extend your health bar. So the way to get to the Fiend challenge is to not jump all the way down to the coffin chamber, but to rather go back to the ritual room, out of which we grabbed the Holy Grail in the previous chapter. And so again, if you don't have too much money, you can go all the way back to where you're fleeing from the boulder, go all the way back up there, go to the monastery, grind for money. This is an open world game. You can go pretty much wherever you want to. I mean, you can't go back to chapter 3, and you can't revisit certain parts of section 1. But it's other than that, it's an open world game. So the Fiend challenge consists of just the zombie monsters, and they're going to all be in that little room where we got the Grail before. So there's not much room to fight in actually, and I'm equipping the Vigorian Flail. What I actually did was, from the save point, I went all the way up to the monastery because there's no shop down here anywhere. There is one in the coffin chamber down below, but if you go down there, you can't go back up. There's no way to go back up. So my Vigorian Flail is at level 2, the highest it can go up to, and I'm going to be doing the Cremator move quite a bit. In fact, I'll demonstrate it while we're going up this elevator here. You do 3 X's. Then you move the left analog stick in the direction of the enemy, and then you press the X button 5 more times. So it's pretty easy to know how to do. It's all X presses. So in a moment I'll demonstrate it. There's no enemies here, so I'm just kind of, that's the Cremator move right there. That's the final flurry of the Cremator. It's like a blender. All the enemies get cut up. Now, I believe you could kill some of the enemies out here. If you want to kill some of these enemies to get the kills, you can. But they'll all come into this room, and I sped this footage up just because it was taking a long time. I noticed that these environments are a little brighter, a little brighter in Sigma. So even if you have to spend a lot of money to partake in this trial, you're going to get a ton of money back. And even though this is sped up, all I'm doing is going around doing UTs and focusing on the archers. And if like an archer is on one side, I'll go to the other side and hide around the corner and charge up an attack. Those archers are eerily accurate with their arrows. So I'm doing the Cremator move on him right there. And I've heard that the Cremator move works pretty well on the Ghost Fish, but I think you have to, when you're fighting those things, you have to incorporate a jump at some point, come down, and then start doing it again. So there we go, tearing that guy up with the Cremator move right there. And you can obviously see why I had to speed this up. You have to kill 120 of these guys, and I didn't even know this was I didn't even know this existed. I don't think this is in Sigma, but this is the second of the 8 Fiend challenges, and I can't honestly say if I'm going to be able to bring you all of the Fiend challenges, and it won't be for a lack of trying, definitely. The one where you have to slay 120 berserkers in Zarkon Stadium, I think I can do that because the way the berserkers work in this game is that, first of all, it's kind of strange. You can't parry the berserkers the way you can in Sigma. But the thing with the berserkers, the trade-off there is that they don't attack you off screen. So it was impossible to charge up attacks when you had multiple berserkers hanging around, because they would do their projectile attacks, their area of effect attack on the floor, and if they were in berserk mode, they would just fly at you from across the screen. So we are going to be facing a berserker, a pair of berserkers in the next chapter to get a Life of the Gods, and it's not that bad. Pretty much the strategy I use for those guys in the next chapter is just the Y hold. You just hold Y. You don't charge your attack. Pretty much well, you would charge it if there's time, but normally there's just not enough time to get off a charge. So I just do the Y hold until the guy's almost about to hit me. Then I let go, and I do that circular sweeping attack, which usually hits, but it gets blocked quite a bit. So here I'm just hiding in the corner from these guys. And this weapon works really well at, not only doing the UTs, but killing a lot of these guys. See, I just killed 3 guys right there. The guys with the Morning Star weapon, very deadly if they hit you with that. The archers are just... I hate the archers. Hate the archers. These guys just have a lot of health, too. So it looks like we're past the point of no return on the trial. I'm just going to keep tearing people up here. And this is a hard level. This is a really damn hard level, because not only do we have, we have this Fiend challenge here, which in itself is not hard, but it is kind of hard to fight in this cramped room. See, guy's raping me right there, that son of a bitch. But we do have the Hydracubus boss fight, and he's only hard because he has the cat fiends with him. And then we have Alma, and it's one of those things, the lack of convenience in this game, because in Sigma they placed a store in the underwater area where the lift is. It takes you to the monastery, that room that always has the safe in it. But here there's no store down there underwater. And it's completely... if you weren't prepared and you went down there, you would not be able to backtrack. And you can't... The thing is, once you go into the monastery, you can't exit the monastery via the front doors, because it'll tell you that a strange seal has, seized hold of the door, and you can't go out the front door. But I think that's some kind of a loading issue or some kind of a game inadequacy. But it is what it is. You have to make a lot of... You have to not only... Well, I wouldn't say you have to bring a lot of money here, because I'm showing you that I didn't even have much money here. But you do have to have a decent amount of equipment, inventory when you come down here. And then, make a lot of money on this, and then make a lot of money on the fights that precede the Hydracubus boss fight. And there's 2 big ones that are pretty much like this, except there's pincer fiends, and they're big money making fights, definitely. And it's helpful to do this trial to make a lot of money and to get that Lives of the Thousand Gods to increase their health bar a little bit. So we're over the 100 mark here. Looks like we got about 17 more foes to dispatch here. And all the guys you saw in the hallway, they'll just disappear because they were part of the trial. You could probably do this whole trial out in the hallway, but that's a horrible environment to fight in. Also, I was thinking to myself that if you wanted to not to just have one archer on the vicinity and then kill all the other guys and just have only one archer the whole time, that might work. Or have a minimum number of archers, because you only have another archer spawn when you kill an archer. So if you don't kill the archer, you would just be dealing with the other guys. So if you had an archer in a convenient spot where you could take care of all the rest of the enemies and hide behind this area where I am now, it would be a good idea to do that. Okay, looks like one more guy left. There he goes. He's dead. That's our 120. Got a 40 hit combo right there. That was good. Got a lot of karma points, and of course we got this reward here. I would still do these even if they didn't yield rewards. You know, if they're such, you know, good sources of money, because this one, look, I came to this level with, I don't even think I had 5,000 out of 61,000. I may have had like 50. Okay, I guess these guys don't disappear, but that's just extra money for you. I'm just head stomping on these guys. So yeah, the next part is pretty damn hard. I mean, I've done it so many times and I've beat it so many times, but there's also been times when I died on Hydracubus, and had to do the whole section over, because the thing is with the next part, in the main room, when you go down into that main area where the chamber of the red eye and chamber of the blue eye are, those two doors, you're going to have a lot of these guys in the main area, and you don't have to fight them. But if you don't fight them and you don't kill them, you don't make all that money. And if you like, you know, invest all that time and then you're on Hydracubus, you can't afford to die unless you want to waste like a half hour's worth of work. It's just not worth it. So when I get to Hydracubus, I do everything in my power to not die. So this is sped up. It will resume in the normal speed presently after I get to this save point. Here are those platforms without the invisible railing on them. Be careful. And there is a save point downstairs too, but there's archers before them, and I don't like those guys. So here's the coffin chamber down here. Remember to pick up this golden scarab. And when we go through this door over here, we're going to fight these archers too. And remember, they're skippable, so you don't have to fight these guys. There's 4 of them, I believe. And I've never been able to find a good way to fight these guys. I mean, you could stand behind these coffins here, and as you can see, I'm not getting tagged by any arrows. Thing is, though, these guys are so accurate, it's maddening, because you get frustrated. You see, and then getting driven back constantly, it's such a source of frustration too. And then you try to do a charge. See, watch this. Well, I tried to do this here. Nope. The guy shot me. He was much quicker than I was. And of course the orb had to dissipate, didn't it? So the Zuna drop works pretty well, as you can see there, but it's not perfect. And I'm almost getting killed. Need to grab some health right there. And I've never liked this section. It's damn hard, especially the Hydracubus boss fight. It's just so easy for that fight to go out of control. And once we hit the save point, there's no saving until you defeat the boss. And there's a lot of stuff that you have to do in between those 2 points. So fortunately, we have a store right here. It is possible at this point to upgrade your dragon sword to level 3. They do permit it, so make sure you definitely do that. If not here, then at least sometime before you fight Alma. So here's the map right there. There's I don't like to go on the bridge because it triggers that cutscene, and I just like to jump down and fight the guys. So here's the fight down here. There's 2 of these exact same fights here. We have those pincer fiends, the sliding imps, and we have do we have an archer? I'm not sure if we have an archer. And I know that in Sigma there is an archer. So your priority here has to be the sliding imps, because they're too fast. They're going to get in your way. We need to grind for money on the bigger foes. So I've left this in real time, but the second time, basically once you complete one of the rooms, you come out here, and then the same fight will repeat. So it's a really good spot to stand. This is a good spot to stand too, right there. Got a pair of beheadings, nice. I'm gonna do a UT, kill this guy. But what I was saying was that when this fight does repeat, it's going to be in fast forward because it's going to be the same fight. This is the same fight. It's going to be the fast forwarded version. It's just, you know, different variables, but the same essential fight. If you could just watch this fight, you'll be fine for the next fight. 'Cause it's the same enemies, same. I think it's just well, maybe it is the same enemies. I'm not sure about the count though. I think it's a few less. Like 19 enemies as opposed to here where it's like over 20. It's like 21, 22, 23. So yeah, this is probably going to take a while. I should have probably sped this footage up too, but as for the rooms, I'm going to be showing you a trick that about how to get up to the upper platforms without actually having to go on the little traps of torture, because they are torture. They will drive you absolutely crazy. The only difference between this and Sigma is that in the chamber of the Red Eye, they have an equally challenging room, and in Sigma they just fill the whole place up with water and just have to run to the other side and shoot the guys. So very challenging in this game. But again, with that trick I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be as challenging as it was intended to be. Trust me. I also wonder if, like, the people who program this game, because I'm going to show you how to get up to the ledge, like if they knew that could be done. I don't think they could have known that. I mean, because people play a game and they, 10 years down the line, all these people find out so many things about a game that the people who made it never intended for the game to do. But this game is just like a perfectly made old car. It works so well. The older it gets, the more charm it has, and it just works so well. Whoever made this game did such an amazing job. The whole team that made this game, Team Ninja, such a damn good, fine game. It's like you cannot get quality that surpasses this. Not really. I mean, Ninja Gaiden 2 is in the same ballpark as far as quality. But like this and Ninja Gaiden 2, hell, even Sigma 2, they're all really fantastic games. But here I'm just inching around the corner. Now, you have to kill all the archers before you can actually interact with the eyes. So take this guy out right here. I think this box has a high potion, which I can't hold currently. So I'm going to go down here now. And I think you need the Dragon Sword equipped to get up there. I'm not sure, but I've always used the Dragon Sword to get up there. Also, another difference between this and Sigma is that there's in Sigma, both rooms contained a Life of the Gods and a Golden Scarab. In this game, both rooms still do contain Life of the Gods, but only one room contains a Golden Scarab. So that's why I was kind of confused earlier because I thought I had missed one, but it was because of this room here that doesn't. It's one of the rooms doesn't have one, so I had to compensate for that missing one. So take this guy out. I like to take one guy out, but remember, you have to have one guy alive in order to jump up here. What you do is do a vertical wall run up. Yeah, this is not the room that has a Golden Scarab. You do a vertical wall run. You throw shurikens, then you press triangle. Or I was going to say triangle. If you want to rewind that, I did a wall run, and then when I was at the highest point, I threw shurikens, and then I pressed the triangle button because when you the Y button, because when you press the Y button, he'll lock onto the archer who's up there, and if you don't have an archer up there, he has no one to lock onto, so you'll never be able to reach the top of that platform if you've killed all of the archers. So you have to at least leave one. Here I was checking, no Golden Scarab. Then when I come out of this room, like I said, it's going to be the same fight repeated. And here's me just being a dumbass. I forgot that chest was there. Okay, so I'm going to speed this footage up here, equip the flail, and just take care of all of the foes in here. So this is going to be a quick sped up section Once again, I'm just taking care of the imps at first, and then grinding for money on the larger enemies. And well, which one? We have the Chamber of the Blue Room to do next, I believe. Yeah, that's the one we have to do. And it's a lot easier. Well, not a lot easier. It's easier just because there's one less archer, and you don't have those. Well, you do have like a torture. You do have the big maces swinging. Okay, it looks like there's only 16 enemies right there. Sorry about that. I thought there was 19. Can you guys ever forgive me? Okay, so. Oh no, there's the same amount. Forgot about this guy. Do the Azuna drop on this guy. And then grab the arrows from the course. This is always stressful. If anyone else has been stressed when they've done this part, let me know. Because it's just, there's so much to lose. There's so much at stake on that Hydracubus boss fight. And I would highly recommend you bring one, if not two, Talismans of Rebirth for that fight. Just because you might not need them, but there's so many times when those cats just... Like, sometimes I have, as a human being, I have to blink my eyes. You know, that's just how we humans work. We have to blink our eyes for whatever reason. I don't know why. I'll have to Google that sometimes, why we have to blink our eyes. But I have to fucking blink my eyes sometimes. And when I play this game, I blink my eyes and I'm dead. That's how hard this game is. Same with Ninja Gaiden 2. And those cat fiends, it's like, you cannot even blink your eyes when you're fighting those guys. So anyway, same thing applies up here. Take care of one of the archers. Here's the Golden Scarab. See how I dragged that essence down there? And do you vertical wall run up? I think I missed it the first time. So it's wall run up, B, Y. And then just take care of this guy. I don't bother with trying to get UTs on these guys up here. Then we are going to be facing Hydracubus. Now, if you could somehow go back up to the save statue, and I think you should be able to save it somewhere before this fight. That's why I don't know. I can't perform well if I can't practice on something, and it's the same with the final boss. With any boss, there's no checkpoint on any boss in this game. So to get good with the bosses, you have to, go to the mission modes and fight them that way. So don't forget to grab that Life of the Gods too. Grab some more arrows from that course. And if I were you, I would probably use the Inferno, because those lackeys, you got to get those lackeys out of the way. I am aware that the flame wheels take significant damage off Hydracubus if you're just standing next to him, but you really can't be standing anywhere at one time here. You have to keep moving. Remember, once you do the fly swallow, shuriken cancel like I did right there, and then press the Y button to do that downward stab. And, you have to react so quickly here. So there we go. I mean, at least we could tear this guy up. Look how much, half his life's gone in one attack. So just don't take any risks. I mean, do you want to have to do that all the stuff we just did, that 20 minutes worth of footage that I just was talking over? Do you want to do all that over again because one of these cats roped his tail around your neck and choked you? Like, it's crazy. And it's even harder here because it's dimmer. The lighting, I actually like the lighting in this game better because it's more ominous, but it just makes it even more intense, though. And I wish you could aim the Inferno the way you can aim the art of the Inferno in Ninja Gaiden 2. How it would have a circular target for you. This game is just too old school, but it's like a I used to have an old BMW, and sure, it had its problems, but like that kind of, now I have a newer BMW. It's still not that new. It's 10 years old, but it's just like that old saying, they don't make games the way they did. They don't make cars the way they used to. It's the same with games. Like when the people that made this game made it, people were making games for gamers. I mean, they were making games that were actually games. No fluff, no DLC, no holding your hand, no teasing you with stuff, no rewriting script because people are complaining like they did with God of War Ascension, those goddamn babies. And I really hope the same thing doesn't happen for God of War 4. Where everybody's got to be so politically correct, and Todd Pappy has to rewrite the script to change the Trial of Archimedes, which I did on my third or fourth time. Some people couldn't even beat it on easy mode. Can you believe that? That's fine. That's fine if you're not a gamer, or if you're not somebody who plays games to review them or give advisements about them or to test them. That's not fine. You should be able to beat that on easy. Anyway, that's my rant for this video. I try not to do rant. I try to speak it. Whatever's happening on the screen, I like to address it. That's my philosophy. So I'm going to go back in here and get the... and that whole, talking strategy nonstop. I've always done that. It's just never been even... It's never been anything I even strive to do. I just did it, from the very beginning. That's where my mind went. I want to talk about the stuff that's happening on the screen because it's the most interesting thing that I'm currently looking at. I mean, okay, yeah, another difference from Sigma. I'm going to save it first, but you saw those guys rear up from the throne right there. We have 3 archers, so I'm going to cremate these guys. That cremator move is a badass move, and in Ninja Gaiden 2, you could do that move if you tapped Y when you were doing a UT. It would randomly do it, and it would tear those guys up. I wish I used the flails a little bit more. If you're looking for a good Ninja Gaiden game to play, I would definitely recommend this game. I mean, this game, if you have a 360, this game is $10 at the store. That's a great fucking deal for a piece of, history, game-making history, a masterpiece. And, there's nothing wrong with the port either. There's only one thing that is wrong with the port is that when you're in the caverns, like a couple times when you're in the caverns, there is like a white bar on the side of the screen, but that's like the only time the game ever has a single problem. And there's no loading times. There's no like mid-level loading times in this game. If you play Sigma, it's constantly loading when you're going around the environment, because they didn't put enough resources into making that game be as technically sound as it should be. They didn't optimize it all the way with the resources that they probably had to begin with. What did they do? They made Rachel's tits bigger. That's what they did, and they made them move around in bouncier ways. Anyway, I think I'm going to say fuck these guys here. Yeah, I can't tell you how much I hate those fish. There will come a time, though, when I'm going to have to deal with them, and when I do have to deal with them, I will show you the best way to deal with those fucking guys, but I truly hate the fish. If they weren't in this game, it would be such an even better game. But another difference between this game and Sigma is in the hall we're going to be approaching. Traditionally in Sigma, it would take you about 2 uses of the fire wheels to get all the way to the end. But this hall is shorter here, and it only takes 1. So observe what I do right here. I'm going to use the art of the fire wheels right about here, and just sprint for it. Don't look back. Don't do anything but just run forward. And that's it. That was the whole thing. I skipped the cutscene out. And here's the Golden Scarab. Now, I did edit me going over to the save point for everybody's convenience, but don't go up here until you've saved it, because it's a hard fight up here. You want to save it before and after this fight, excuse me. Before you can even go into the safe, we're going to be ambushed by cats and red ninjas. So here are the cats, and a couple chapters back, or maybe it was the last chapter, I said the cats were the hardest enemy in this game. I do still hold by that, but there is even a harder enemy called the Berserker, whom I mentioned earlier in this video. They're also called nightmares, and they're also called something else. It's Vigorian Slayers or something. But they go by all names. They go by a lot of names, and I would say that enemy is. That enemy is the hardest enemy in the game, but that enemy is like a mini boss, and he's not like a normal enemy like the cats are. Okay, so from this safe here, I believe we get a Life of the Gods. So right left is a sequence. We need to turn the wheel, and then 1410. I think in Sigma, this chest gives you a Jewel of the Demon Seal at this point. Okay, there's our Life of the Gods. Remember to go back and save it, because Alma is not easy. She's really not, but I have a pretty good strategy for dealing with her. She's just extremely evasive. But if you use the Inferno on her, you can knock her down a lot. And there's a striking difference between this Alma and the previous one. Watch when I get her down. When I get her down, see, I'm going to take care of a lackey or two, and they're going to be coming at set intervals when her health deteriorates. I don't think I do the Azuna drop here, do I? Yeah, look at that Azuna drop. You cannot lift her up like that in Sigma. She won't let you do it. So it's significantly easier here, and you might not be able to get so lucky as I did with almost every shot that I hit her, that I flew at her. Every shot that went towards her and hit her, I think knocked her down. So you need to come here with a lot of Ninpo, a lot. I don't think you can get your. I think at this point we've only been given one Jewel of the Demon Seal, but make sure make sure your Inferno's at level 2. And if you're not using Ninpo and you want to do a different strategy, you need to Fly Swallow her. But in my opinion, the Fly Swallows are less reliable than using the Inferno to knock her down to the ground. That's just my opinion. It obviously it's more wasteful, but if I'm getting more results with one strategy, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to hit her up again. I just love that. I love how you could drag her up. I thought you could do the same with Marbus, but you can't. And I think I had one little sliver of her health left, and then she was giving me a hard time. That always happens. And I'm sure everybody who's played games, especially this, can relate, but she's probably the hardest boss for a lot of people. Personally, I don't really know who's the hardest boss for me. I know that Ishtarosh is a very hard boss. But the great thing about Master Ninja mode, as opposed to Very Hard mode, I think Very Hard mode is harder. That last gauntlet with Marbus, I think it's harder because you get lackeys on Master Ninja. And while I ordinarily would, look at that ass shot right there. That was nice. While I ordinarily would shit on lackeys, I'm giving them props here because they're actually helpful to chain the essence attacks off and deal good damage to bosses here. So she's got these projectile attacks you have to watch out. Also, when she's doing that tractor beam move where she pulls you up, you cannot be caught in that or you'll be dealt massive damage. And she also throws pieces of these columns at you, so you just have to move around in a circular manner to avoid all her attacks. She does that stomp. That is a grab. It's a kick that moves into a grab, and it takes away a lot of your health. So just watch out for that. Here she's throwing the columns. I'm going to try to Fly Swallow her. I don't have any magic left. Well, I do. I have another Talisman of Rebirth, but I'm not going to use it. It's completely wasteful. I mean, look how much health she has. She's going to go down right here. So we took her down. That is a really hard chapter, and I hope that this video helps you, because that's what it's intended to do, hopefully. And I'll see you guys. See Master Ninja. I hope everybody else is a Master Ninja too.